All the way from Houston, Texas, boxing fans, here is Frank Tate. Tate.
The rules of the state of New Jersey. The 3 knockdown rules, standing 8 count in effect. The physician can stop the fight. Round by round scoring, of course, 5-point must system, and no saving by the bell except in the very last round. The last round, the only sure 3-minute round. Ray, I know you're enthused about these two. Tate the younger, the reach very significant. Tate 74 inches, Parker only 63.
Well, Ken, you cut that in half though, because they go from fingertip to fingertip, but in the ring they cut it in half, so it's actually 5.5, which is still long reach.
So we're going to watch here in round 1. The veteran Curtis Parker wants to work inside. He says, I take round 1 just as though it is the last round. In other words, he comes at you all night long.
Well, Frank Tate is, if you ask most people, you know, the one word to describe Frank Tate, they'd all say relax. He himself has said, you know, I want to go in there and try to be cool and calm. But a guy like Curtis Parker doesn't let you. You have to fight every minute of every round. So Frank Tate's going to have to pick up the pace of the fight tonight.
Curtis Parker is all motion, as you can see here in the early going in round number 1.
See, a lot of people feel that, you know, Frank Tate, you know, is going to be a champion soon. And like I said, I think he possesses everything it takes to be a world champion. But I'm telling you right now, I think this fight tonight against Curtis Parker is a very dangerous fight for him. And if he passes this test, I think he's on his way to a world title.
Tate training out of Houston. He's been training there, fighting out of that Texas city, but he's originally from Detroit.
See, a guy like Frank Tate, he trains with a lot of fighters, but I don't think anybody who he trains with possesses the intensity or the aggression of a Curtis Parker. And this is what he'll have to, you know, we'll have to see tonight if he can handle this type of pressure. You know what they say, Ken, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Well, a big test for Tate, and his handlers certainly want to see how he does.
Well, see, you can see he's trying to be calm right now. He's trying to take his time, but Curtis Parker's not letting him take his time. He's bullying him all over the ring, and he's going to be doing that all night.
We talk about Tate becoming an eventual middleweight champion. His handlers feel that would be about a year and a half away. Maybe even as long as 2 years. Of course, there's quite a log jam in that middleweight division with the likes of Marvin Hagler and Thomas Hearns and John Mugabe. So they're bringing Frank Tate along very, very slowly. Right to the side of the head by Tate.
What I like right now is Curtis Parker is not letting Frank Tate get in the rhythm of his fight. He's throwing him off tempo. He's making him do what he wants him to do. Frank Tate right now is a little disorganized. He's a little confused because Curtis Parker's up, down, he's in, he's out. He's getting hit with body punches. I'm going to tell you right now, them punches will take the toll through his fight if it goes 10 rounds. Because he's throwing some ferocious body shots, especially that right hand to the left side of Tate's body.
Parker, very much the shorter of the two fighters, but he's been in this kind of spot a lot in his career, Ray.
And he always does well against fighters that are taller than him. Most of the fights that he's lost or had tough times with are guys that have been his size or not much bigger, who fight the same type of fight, who stand there and brawl with him. Guys like Hampshire, Scipion.
And we're going to keep it here at the end of round number 1. We saw Curtis Parker. No surprises there, Ray, at all.
No, not at all, Ken. Curtis Parker, would you see in that first round, will be doing that the whole fight.
Use that uppercut up the lane.
Composure. Let's listen in Frank Tate's corner.
Keep changing directions a little bit.
You know, Ray, they mentioned changing directions. His trainer, Jesse Reed, saying, you know, we've really changed Frank Tate's style. We've changed him from a straight stand-up fighter to more of a rotating angle fighter. That's something you've talked about in many of our Friday night ringside bouts.
Yes, Ken. Getting them angles on a fighter is very important, and Frank Tate is doing it very well. He's learned his lessons well. What I mean by getting angles is instead of standing straight up in front of a guy or backing straight up, back up to the side. You step to the side, throw punches. Very effective.
So getting ready for round number 2 of the scheduled 10-round middleweight fight here in Atlantic City. Young Frank Tate, who'll turn 22 next Wednesday, and Curtis Parker. Of course, you watch Parker in the early going, dancing, bobbing, moving, taking the fight to Tate. You always have that question of just how much energy he'll have. Will he be able to go the distance?
Well, Curtis Parker, this has been his style since day one. Since he was an amateur and all through his professional career. Believe me, he can go. Now, the one thing I'm watching out is Curtis Parker's throwing a wide right hand from way out. Afraid Tate might try to catch him with a short hook on the way in. Short hook would be very effective against something like that.
Tate leading with that left, a little low jab with the right. Now takes a hammer, the shot with the right from Curtis Parker.
See, this is something I don't think Frank Tate's going to be used to. A guy like Curtis Parker with those punches jumping in the air, off the wrong foot. He just throws them from all angles. He's going to hit you somewhere.
Talk about that aggressiveness, Ray, of Parker, and often say Curtis Parker has a lot of the Joe Frazier stuff.
Oh, yes, Joe Frazier. He trained at the Joe Frazier gym in Philadelphia. I've heard him say earlier in his career that Joe Frazier was one of his idols. As you can see, he tried to pattern himself after Joe Frazier in many ways.
Curtis Parker in the blue trunks, Frank Tate in the white trunks. This is round number 2.
See, Frank Tate right now is trying to measure Curtis Parker for a right hand or for an uppercut. You can't do that. You just got to throw punches. You can't try to measure a guy who's up, down, in, and out, because you're never going to find him. He's a moving target.
Still a minute 20 to go in the second round.
See, Frank Parker's got him backing up, sticking a jab in his face. He's still throwing Frank Tate off his rhythm.
Tate aggressive there with a combination.
Frank Tate's throwing that right hand a lot. In the first round, he's throwing a lot this round. Curtis Parker's making misses a lot. Now he got caught right there.
He went inside. He originally led to the body with a right, and then Tate upstairs with that right.
But Tate's people also told him to try to catch him with a right uppercut on the way in. What he has to watch is Curtis Parker don't drop a left hook on him. Because when you throw an uppercut, you expose that right side of your face. And if you get it, and if a guy comes in with a left hook, well, it could be an early evening for you.
Second round, Parker still aggressively stalking Tate. Missing with the left, a little quick right jab back from Tate. And Tate just ducking away. Of course, a lot of Philadelphia Curtis Parker fans here in Atlantic City tonight. He's from Frankfurt High School in the northeast section of the city of brotherly love. And Curtis Parker, when he's not in the ring and training, giving a lot of that brotherly love back to his city. He hopes someday in Philadelphia to have a political career.
This bud's for all that you do.
Carlos, I need 100.
The bell for round 3. Ken Wilson along with Ray Boom Boom Mancini here in Atlantic City.
Ken, one thing I noticed between rounds is that this ring is a very large ring. It's probably a 20 by 20 ring, which favors Frank Tate. A guy like Frank Tate likes to have a big ring and be able to move on. Curtis Parker said this afternoon when he stepped into the ring after the weigh-in that, you know, he said, wow, this is a big ring. So I'm going to have to cut the ring off on this guy. And he's trying to do so tonight. He always likes, Curtis Parker would like to fight in the phone booth if he could.
Parker still aggressive here early in round 3. Some good body shots to Tate. Tate has come back. There's no question. Tate is getting into the fray, not backing away at all from Parker. Tate in the white trunks, Parker in the blue trunks.
Ken, in a fight like this, you got a more experienced fighter like Curtis Parker over the young blood like Frank Tate. But I've said from the beginning, I believe there's no better experience. No, there's no greater teacher than experience. And sometimes that experience takes over in the end of the fight. Right now, Curtis Parker seems very confident in what he wants to do. He's been in this situation many times.
Parker in 1981 won the USBA middleweight title, and he held it for over a year. Good shot there by Frank Tate. We're in the middle of round 3.
Frank Tate has the hammer of a right hand. And he keeps trying to drop it on Curtis Parker. He's hit him 2 times. That time he hit him on top of the head.
Ray Mancini mentioned earlier all the great fighters that Parker has been tested by throughout his career. probably the two real tough losses in his career to Mustafa Hamschel in 81 and 82. And that really sent Parker skidding from some pretty hefty heights in the boxing world.
Those are some brutal fights. Some guys were toe-to-toe, same type of fighters, almost the same height. Those are brutal fights. He also fought Wilfred Scipion, which is another guy who could punch a little bit in the middleweight division.
Little body work there by Parker, and Tate coming right back. We have a local break coming up here at the end of round 3.
I think Frank Tate right now is starting to get his confidence. As you can see, he's getting a little cute in there.
He's letting them go a little more. Tate really coming after Parker here with seconds to go in this round.
Evidently, Frank Tate feels confident. He's felt Curtis Parker's punches, and he evidently doesn't think Parker can hurt him or knock him out.
So 3 rounds of action here in Atlantic City.
Wednesday.
Ken, right here, you can see the advantage in Tate's reach. Palm with that left hand and drops it right.
Live action, round 4, scheduled 10-rounder middleweight division. Lanky Frank Tate and wily Curtis Parker. A little left to the face, just a little hello. Tate doing a lot of backpedaling, and Ray doesn't even look like he needs to catch a second breath.
I'll tell you what, kid. Say that about the 8th round, because that backpedaling takes a toll on you. It's much harder fighting backing up than it is coming forward.
Now Tate very aggressive here early in this round. And more defensive work than we have seen in the first 3 rounds by Curtis Parker.
I think that would be to Tate's advantage if he could try to back Curtis Parker up. Parker's not used to backing up. He probably can't fight very well backing up since he's not used to it. And I think if Tate can keep him backing up and at the end of them jabs and right hands, he'll be successful.
Tate really throwing a lot of punches now at Parker. Parker trying to retaliate, backing Frank Tate up into that red corner.
One thing I'm noticing is when Curtis Parker goes inside, Frank Tate lowers that left elbow down to that side. Evidently, Parker's punches are taking their toll on the left side of Tate's body, because he covers up that left side very well.
Parker expected to work at the body, work inside on Tate. Try to get around the height disadvantage.
A guy like Parker hits you on the shoulder, hits you on the elbows, hits you on the arms. He's going to hurt you wherever he hits you. And when you have the style of Curtis Parker, that's one of your goals, is to bang the guy anywhere. Hurt his arms, and that way he can't pick his hands up.
Less than a minute to go. This is the 4th round. Ooh, a right from Tate, and Parker almost walked right into it. Ooh, a big right catching the face of Parker as Tate has landed a couple of good shots here late in the 4th round.
There's blood on the right side, under the right eye of Curtis Parker.
Ooh, another left, and a good combination there from Frank Tate. He's really come on here in the 4th round against Parker.
And they're shooting some heavy punches here. Parker's catching him with body shots, Tate's catching him with good head shots.
The aggressiveness of Parker early did not slow Frank Tate down one bit.
He's making him punch. He's making Tate punch.
We've got a local break for you stations coming up. This is the end of round number 4. Don't go away. More action coming up.
A lot of dealers that I've dealt with in the past, after you buy the product from them, they seem to forget about you.
Ken, you can see that Frank Tate's cocking that right hand, ready to drop it on Parker, and boom, right there.
The big hit in the 4th round, and then between rounds, working on the eye. Look at the eye of Curtis Parker.
Well,
now, this is the 5th round.
It swelled up, and it did cut a little bit. There was blood that I saw.
And Parker stumbles, just stumbling over the foot of Frank Tate. The referee, Vinny Rainoni, says fight. Tate backed up, takes a couple to the body, and then just angles off and ducks out of the way and turns back into the middle.
Yes, Frank Tate is very well scored. He knows how to get up the ropes. He keeps his body on an angle. He doesn't give Curtis Parker too much to shoot at.
These two fighters were originally scheduled to meet in June on Friday night ringside. Parker had to bow out because of an injury. That was Tate's last fight. You might recall he knocked out Brian Muller. Parker has not fought since January.
Well, a guy like Curtis Parker, every day in the gym is a fight for him. Some guys war in the Philly gyms.
There's another side to Curtis Parker. We mentioned he's interested in a political career. Much of this past spring and early summer, he was driving a school bus in Philadelphia and really getting in touch with the people. I think he champions the poor and really champions children. He does a lot of work with youngsters. And we visit with him. That's what he talks about.
Yes, he's very concerned, with, especially with the children and the elderly. And I tell you what, it makes him a bigger champ in my eyes.
Nearing the end of his career, undoubtedly, is Curtis Parker. Maybe his best days are behind him, and for Frank Tate in the white trunks, no question, his biggest days, even though he's won a gold medal in the Olympics, are ahead of him. A minute to go in the 5th round. Parker, if you joined us late, very aggressive in the early going. It did not seem to bother Frank Tate one bit. He has been cool and relaxed the entire fight.
Curtis Parker's eyes are starting to both swell up pretty bad. He's making Frank Tate miss a lot, but he's not punching when he makes him miss.
Look at that right from Tate, bounding out of the corner and really slamming Curtis Parker. Parker missing with a left. We've seen Tate in previous fights, and his demeanor just never changes from round 1 to the final round.
I just saw something, Ken. When they were neck clinch, Curtis Parker did not punch. He was just holding on. That may show that he's getting a little tired, or that he's hurt.
This is the end of round 5.
Strength, pride, tradition. For centuries, the Clydesdale has
championship bout. Plus, rugged heavyweight Carl the Truth Williams and top light heavyweight Eddie Davis take on 2 tough opponents on the Dynamite undercard. Tickets are on sale at the Trump Plaza box office and at all Ticketron locations. To charge tickets, call 1-800-523-2803 or call Teletron.
Scheduled 10-rounder, round 6. You have to be impressed with the effort, the aggressiveness of Curtis Parker, but Frank Tate is very much together tonight as always.
Oh yes, Frank Tate has risen to the occasion thus far. But something I noticed in the last round, he's thrown a lot of punches. Frank Tate's thrown a lot of punches. A lot of his steam has gone out of his punches.
This is round number 6. We talked about the big ring a couple of rounds ago. Has Parker been able to cut the angles off, cut it in half?
Well, he's doing well, but Frank Tate's not giving him a steady target. Frank Tate's moving on them angles. He's making it hard for Curtis Parker to set up. Right now, Curtis Parker's, now you can see he's getting a little fatigued because he's starting to wait a little bit and stand straight up. Instead of, he's always got to keep coming forward, moving that head. Never giving Tate a target to draw on.
6th round action here in Atlantic City. Tate in the white trunks, Parker in the blue.
My only question is, Ken, that could a Frank Tate take the punches of the Curtis Parker of the 1981? Curtis Parker, that time, when he threw them left hooks and right hands and body, crushed a lot of ribs and broke a lot of bones. And I'm just wondering if it was the same Curtis Parker of that time where had the same punching ability, if Frank Tate would still be there, because he's getting hit with some shots.
And of course, only the computer knows.
It's just something I found.
A very good point. The only time Parker has lost a fight by knockout, and he's 28-7, was in 1984. He was knocked out by John Mugabe.
That was the one fight that showed me that John Mugabe could really punch. I mean, he was knocking guys up to that point, but when he knocked Curtis Parker was a guy who has been known for taking a sledgehammer of a punch. This guy knocked him out in the first round. I said, this guy is for real. He can punch.
This is the 6th round, down to the final 30 seconds. We'll be taking a local break after this round. Tate, in his 13 previous fights as a pro, has never gone more than 8 rounds. He's done that 3 times. Boy, a lot of inside work here, Ray. Ooh, and a big right. The uppercut coming from Tate, catching that chin, that sturdy chin of Parker.
When I'm surprised.
Time's running out. Your Toyota does great port clearance.
Frank Tate is getting the better on the inside, Ken. You can see right here he catches an uppercut and a left hook, which is Parker's territory. And right here, he's getting a little cute, step to the right, drop a right hand. Things are going his way pretty well tonight.
Action in round 6, now round number 7. It's been a very good night thus far in the scheduled 10-rounder for middleweight Frank Tate. Trying to run his pro record to 14-0 after winning the gold medal as a junior middleweight in the '84 Olympics in Los Angeles when he won the gold medal, taking a fight from Canada's Sean O'Sullivan.
He also survived 2 standing 8 counts in 1 round there. He got hammered pretty good 1 round and he came back. So that shows his heart. Right now he's really just winging punches, throwing uppercuts, left hooks. He feels confident. Right now I can't see him losing this fight unless Parker catches him with a good hook or straight right hand. Frank Tate is very confident. He's fluid. He's loose.
This is as much punching and as much aggressiveness, I think, Ray, as we have seen from Frank Tate as a pro.
Well, like I said, when you got a guy like Curtis Parker in front of you, you're either going to do one of 2 things. Either you're going to fight, fire back, or you're going to cover up. Pretty basic.
This game is not all that tricky, is it, sometimes?
No, it's not. Like I said, Ken, boxing is pretty basic. Either you fight or cover up when you're either fighting backwards or you're fighting forwards.
And you'll either win, lose, or draw.
That's it.
And we're not too far from the conclusion of this fight. Just over a minute to go in the 7th round. The fight at this juncture seems to belong to undefeated Frank Tate in the white trunks. Ooh, Tate's really letting them go here tonight.
Yes, he is. See, this is where the complicated part comes in, Ken. The battle of attrition. Who's going to stand or who's going to be able to wear the other man down? Who's going to be able to take the other man's heart away? That's the beauty of the sport. These guys are giving an all-out effort here, boys. This is a tremendous fight.
Has Parker been as successful inside to the body as you thought he might be?
Well, yeah, he's been banging them right hands and them left hooks off of Frank Tate's body. But what I like is Frank Tate, the way he gets off. He gets hit with 1 punch, he moves. He doesn't let Parker hit him with 2 or 3 punches.
Coming up to the end of round 7 in this 10-rounder. Here at the Trump Casino Hotel Plaza.
These guys are banging elbows, heads, and everything right now.
Breaking my back on this form all my life. But whenever I start asking why, I think of support the United Negro College Fund.
A royal battle here in Atlantic City, scheduled for 10 rounds. This is round 8 with the champ, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. I'm Ken Wilson. We're glad you're with us on Friday Night Ringside. Curtis Parker looking for a little magic. Must have 3 very strong rounds and might very well need a knockout if he is to come out a winner here tonight. He is the first big test in the young pro career of Frank Tate, the gold medal winner from 1984.
See, Ken, even though Curtis Parker, you can see he's a little arm weary, but he's still got the moves. He's up, down. He's making the young fighter miss a lot of punches. He's giving him a lesson. But Frank Tate is coming to a flying colors.
A brilliant future painted on the horizon for Frank Tate in this middleweight division.
like about Frank Tate more so than anything is that he's a steady fighter. He's very complete. He's not just flash, though I think you'll see him as flashy as he's going to get tonight. He stands there, got a good stand-up style, moves that body well, cuts angles off, moves his body on angles, punches with authority. Good technician. I just think he's a very complete fighter, and I don't see anything stopping this kid. Only one who could beat him probably is himself, and I don't see that happening.
Less than a minute and a half remaining in the 8th round. Parker still coming at Tate, but certainly he has slowed down considerably from the first 3 rounds.
And there's blood on top of Frank Tate's hair. I don't know if there's a cut on the scalp or is that from Curtis Parker.
Glistening blood you might be able to pick up on Frank Tate's head, on the top of the head, on the hair. Less than a minute to go in the 8th round.
You know, Ken, I shouldn't have talked so soon. I said probably the only one who could beat him is himself, unless Curtis Parker drops a left hook.
Well, anything can happen.
Yes, sir.
Frank Tate from the east side of Detroit, Kettering High School. He says, you know, I've never really been involved in any sports other than boxing. So I like baseball, played a little basketball. And, of course, he's had connections with the fabled Kronk Gym in Detroit. He trained there before the Olympics. Look at that little move, huh?
That was nice. I like that.
Some showmanship from the usually very placid Frank Tate.
I'm going to try that on the dance floor tonight.
Hey, you've got moves that'll put that well below any class that you'd like.
Bud Thunder. It's revved up and coming at you.
Bud Thunder is coming through. This Bud for you.
Right here, you can see the quick hand speed of Frank Tate. Though it's in slow motion, it still looks quick. Boom, boom, drops a double left hook. See, he's beating Curtis Parker on the inside, which is where I thought Parker would dominate.
Parker trying to get back, looking for the knockout punch against Tate here in the 9th round of this 10-rounder.
Frank Tate feels very confident. At the end of the last round, he went back to his people. He gave his people a high five. So evidently he feels very confident after this time. You know, Ken, it's very hot in here. As you can see, Frank Tate's trunks are soaked. Partly because of the humidity and the heat. Also because people have been dropping gallons of water down his trunks since the fight began.
Tate has had some of the best rounds we have seen as a pro here late in this fight. Curtis Parker has had all he can do to try to keep with Tate, and even trying to keep an aggressive style going. And that, of course, was his modus operandi for this 10-rounder tonight. And he showed a lot of it in the first 3 rounds especially.
Though the viewing audience can't see, but at ringside you can see on Frank Tate's trunks there's a lot of blood. Now obviously it's from Curtis Parker, but that's one of the reasons why I never liked to wear white trunks, why I never wore white trunks. Because when it gets blood stained, a lot of times it affects the judges because they don't know whether it's your own or your opponent's. It just shows too much of everything.
Ooh, a nice left there from Frank Tate. Parker's eye cut early in this fight. Both eyes are bloomed up, but they haven't seemed to bother him that much.
Curtis Parker's a very fatigued fighter right now.
I was going to say, all that's bothering him is a fellow named Tate.
Yeah, he's losing his balance. He's just a little disoriented right now. But he's trying his heart out, and that's what I admire about him.
Curtis Parker, the zenith of his career back in '81 when he won the USBA middleweight title. 2 big fights he lost to Mustafa Hamko early in the '80s, and then knocked out in '84 by John Mugabe. He had his sights set on a fellow by the name of Marvin Hagler. And, of course, that's something that just never will occur. But for Frank Tate, Hagler earns Mugabe in front of him in this middleweight division. Coming up near the end of round 9 of this 10-rounder. We're going to keep it right here, ringside in Atlantic City at the end of this round. Ooh, Parker's head just moved from side to side, and the combinations there from Tate. And the end of the 9th round, down to 1 round to go for Curtis Parker, as we get a close-up look of the veteran in his corner.
Both these guys will work up through their money tonight, Ken. You can see his eyes are very swelled up from the constant patter of Frank Tate's gloves.
The other side, look at that. There is a very fresh fight.
I don't know, fresh, but it's...
Comparatively.
Yes,
Next round coming up. Touch close to the center of the ring at the bell.
Sorry, I didn't hear you when you told me to step back. Sorry.
Deep breaths. Okay.
Mouthpiece.
Frank Tate's handlers don't feel the time is right after 13 and now 14 pro fights to go right at the top guns in the middleweight division. That's why they're saying a year, year and a half, 2 years, things will change, and Frank Tate's spotlight time, the time at the top of the mountain will come, but they feel experience is what he needs now, and a lot of things will shake out down the road.
Well, I definitely experienced, like I said, is the greatest teacher. But I think that's a little lengthy on this kid. Because this kid, man, he's just passed every test with flying colors. He's shown that he has all the skills to possess a world championship. I cut that a little shorter. I say within a year, he definitely will be in the middle of the middleweight picture.
Boy, Frank Tate has been so impressive tonight. That flourish out of the corner. He's proven himself much more of a puncher tonight against the aggressiveness of Curtis Parker. Frank Tate, the Olympic champion, trying to run his record tonight to 14-0 as a pro. Parker, Ray, still showing a lot of bounce here in this final round.
Oh, this is Curtis Parker's fight. He's going to always come at you. No matter how down you think he is, he's coming at you. He's in shape. He's ready to burn.
No one's sure, and I know Curtis Parker isn't himself, what lies ahead in the ring. For this is an intelligent young man, as we've said, who wants a political career. He has a big heart in the ring, a bigger heart out of the ring. And he's going to have quite a life no matter which direction he goes from this fight tonight.
Well, that impresses me that he wants to get into politics. I admire that about him. I mean, I think he'd be very good in political field, especially after he has to deal with the politics of boxing.
He's just trying to stay away from the knockout punch of Frank Tate here with just over a minute to go in the 10th and final round of this middleweight fight here in Atlantic City.
I don't know if I'm on the line, Ken, and saying that I hope Curtis Parker finishes on his feet, because I think this probably will be his last fight, and I'd like to see him go out standing up.
He's been fighting since 1977 as a pro, Curtis Parker. We'll have a local break coming up after the 10th round. We'll stay here and get a feel at the conclusion how Frank Tate sees it, how Curtis Parker sees it. Just over 30 seconds to go in the fight. As we mentioned, Tate has never gone more than 8 rounds as a pro. And into the 10th, now the mouthpiece of Parker has come out. The mouthpiece of Parker is on the ring mat. Parker still standing, taking all Frank Tate has to offer here in the 10th round.
Tremendous finish to a tremendous fight.
So, this fight to be decided by decision. It would seem certainly to belong to 21-year-old Frank Tate, but what a battle from the veteran, Curtis Parker, and he said it right before the fight. He knew that he was out there to give this future champion his biggest test as a pro, and a test Curtis Parker did give tonight.
Oh, yeah. He came and fought his heart and soul like he has every other fight.
Well, the crowd really appreciating it here in Atlantic City tonight. 10 rounds of excitement in this middleweight battle between Frank Tate and Curtis Parker. And we'll be returning momentarily with the decision. expected a terrific fight. We have seen it between Frank Tate and Curtis Parker. Now all that remains is the decision from the three judges here in New Jersey. It would seem that this would not be a difficult decision, but we've been surprised before. Let's get the result from the ring announcer, Ed Darian.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the beautiful Imperial Ballroom of the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, here in the boxing capital of the world of Atlantic City, New Jersey, the scoring by rounds as follows. Judges Richard F. Murray and Eva Shane observed the fight at 8-2. And Judge William Castro, he scored it 10-zip. For the winner, by unanimous decision, for his 14th straight win in as many pro bouts, Frank Tate. Tate. Let's hear one more.
By decision, taken the distance by Curtis Parker, Frank Tate. No question about it here tonight, Ray Mancini. Let's take a look at some of the action from round number 9, and Tate seemed to get stronger as the fight went on.
He's just finding the target with them right hands. Curtis Parker's very fatiguing. Frank Tate, see, that's what I like. He's moving his body, he's cutting angles up, and he's shooting the right hand and catching him every time. Very impressive.
14-0, the record now for Frank Tate. There seems little doubt that he is headed for a middleweight title fight in the not-too-distant future. We'll be in the ring with the winner when we return in a moment on Friday Night Ringside.
With undefeated Tony Tucker battling leading contender James Broadaxe Broad in a 12-round USBA heavyweight championship bout. Plus, rugged heavyweight Carl the Truth Williams and top light heavyweight Eddie Davis take on two tough opponents on the Dynamite undercard. Tickets are on sale at the Trump Plaza box office and at all Ticketron locations. To charge tickets, call 1-800-523-2803 or call Teletron.
The human mind. It can investigate and solve, imagine and create, plan and perfect. The potential of the human mind is as limitless as space itself. And thanks to your generosity, the United Negro College Fund is turning this potential into reality. Your contributions go to 41 private, predominantly black colleges and universities, schools that are helping thousands of students graduate each year to careers that benefit both you and our nation. So your contributions are helping make their contributions possible.
10 rounds for Frank Tate, the longest you've had to go in a pro fight, but you really looked on the game tonight.
Well, I trained really hard for Curtis Parker, and I was looking forward to fight him the first time, but it fell out. So they gave me much time to practice on what I was preparing for Curtis Parker, and I came out successful.
And your dad, Tom Tate, with you watching this, and I know he's excited, and you're excited to have him here.
Well, yes, I am. You know, he followed me all the way through my amateur on up to the Olympics and now professional, which I think a father should do.
And you've got to be happy.
I'm very happy. I want to thank all the boxing commissioners and the referees and so forth.
Hey, they all help.
We wouldn't be here.
I tell you what, Frank, my question as I watch you fight many times is, you know, how you would handle the intensity and the aggression of Curtis Parker. Obviously, you handled it very well. That must give you more confidence and give you a better picture where you belong in middleweight pitcher.
Well, you know, Curtis Parker been around for a while, and he's ranked up there. I'm here just like him. I'm here to make a living and make a name for myself. You know, I feel he's no better man than me, but he's been here longer than I have. The only thing that helped me out, I've been around world champions like Thomas and Milton McCurry all through my amateur career, so I knew what to expect for Curtis Parker.
How long until middleweight title fight for Frank Tate? We've talked a year and a half, 2 years. What do you think?
Well, I think a good year and a half. I'm still young, learning. I'm just 21. I'll be 22 in 5 more days, so this is a good start, a good birthday present for me.
I personally feel, Frank, that that's a little long for you. I think the way you're progressing, that you'd be there. I think you'll be in the middle of the middleweight division middleweight division pitcher within a year. I'm sure you're looking the way Hagler and Leonard after that fight to make your move.
Well, yeah, you know, like those guys are true champions, so that's why they're fighting each other. Like I said, when it's time for me to go there, I'm going all the way.
You look much more aggressive, I thought, Frank, tonight. Much more of a puncher than we've seen you before. I would assume that's just because of the style of Parker.
Well, I wanted him to respect me. You know, I figured he'd come out and try to doggish me and bull me, but I want to make sure that I'm in there to fight him as well as he in there to fight me. And we're in there both to make a great fight of it. And I like to thank the Lord that neither one of us got hurt, and I came out victorious.
You had some tremendous action tonight. Let's get a look at some of the action. Frank Tate and his decision over Curtis Parker.
Well, right here, see, he was throwing wide shots, and I was coming up the middle like that. What he should have been doing, and I should have been doing what he was doing, but I was shooting up the center because he was a shorter guy. If I tried to shoot long shots, he'd duck. So what I done, I wanted to pick him up first, then come over the top.
Your handlers, your trainer have talked about the angles more, less of a straight-up fighter. We saw it in June. Did you feel good about really working on the angles tonight?
Oh, yes, it prevents a lot of shots from fighters like Parker. You know, like he was throwing them overhand right, and I did the angle, and he went over my head on the rope. And I react right back with the right hand over the top.
Frank, congratulations. You have a gold medal to your credit already. A tremendous start as a pro fighter. It won't be long. We'll see you in a title fight. Good luck in your next one.
All right, thank you. I'd like to thank Budweiser.
All right. Thank you, Frank Tate. Tom Tate, his dad, thank you. Ray Boom Boom, we need about 30 seconds. Tell us about your thoughts on Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler, undoubtedly to fight next March.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight. You got two great fighters finally happening, but I think the fight's a little long overdue. I think a couple years ago it would have been a great fight. Now I think it's going to be a good fight. Marvin, I think, is just too big and too strong, but I admire Ray's courage and his confidence to say, hey, I'm going to go in and do it, irregardless of what the people say, and I think I can beat him. Should be very interesting.
And, of course, the man we saw tonight.